All right, welcome back. This is Aaron Anastasi here with Superior Singing Method. And this is week 2 of a new series that I'm doing about the psychology of singing, or the psychology of being a singer. And this particular episode I'm calling, What If I Fail? Okay? Or, how do I succeed in singing? It's kind of around that idea. And I want to start off by telling you a story, and then we'll kind of launch into some of the content. There's a video called Comedian, and Jerry Seinfeld is in there. It's after he did Seinfeld, and he was going all around New York City and a lot of comedy clubs, and he was building up his comedy again, and then he was gonna, just so he'd have a whole new show, because he wasn't gonna do any of the jokes that he was doing before. And he took along this little protege, like a younger comedian, and the younger comedian asked him, he said, well, what if, what if I fail? I could have been doing all these other things. What if I fail? And Jerry Seinfeld tells a story that I want to tell you really quick, and it's going to launch into kind of the idea of what we're talking about here. So Seinfeld tells him the story. He says there's a big band. It was like a Glenn Miller orchestra type of band back in the 40s, and they were, they travel with all their all their instruments and tubas and flutes, and I don't even know what's in a big band, come to think of it, all the different instruments. It's like 20 different people. Anyway, their bus had broken down, and they're in their orchestra outfits, and it's in the snow. It's like in the middle of a blizzard, and so they have to get out. Bus is broken down. This is before cell phones and all that. So get out, and they're traipsing through the snow with their orchestra outfit on, carrying their instruments, and going about a half a mile down the road. They see this house, and they go up to the house, and they look inside the window, and inside the window it's like this, I don't know if you know who Norman Rockwell is, but it's kind of this Norman Rockwell setting. The painter just like this perfect little family kind of setting, and there's a wife, and she's got her apron on, and she's cooking pie, and they just had dinner, and the husband's reading the newspaper on the couch, and kids are playing with their trucks on the ground, and one of the orchestra members looks over to the other one and looking inside there, goes, how do people live like this? And so the idea is this: being an artist is different than a lot of things. It's not the normal way of life. And so here's kind of my main point. If you want to shut this off or whatever, my main point is this: make a decision about what it is that you want to do. Like, what is it that you want to do? And I'm not talking about, because so many of us labor over this idea of, oh, what should I be? Or what's my calling? Or what am I supposed to do? All that kind of stuff. None of that stuff matters. That type of thing is a thing that usually gets us stuck. Just make a decision. What is it that you truly love, and what are you willing to go after? And just make a decision and do that. You'll know soon enough. As soon as you make a decision and get an action, you'll know how to course correct. Just like the kind of analogy goes, that when you're in a car, if you stand still in a car, you can't course correct. You can't get the car anywhere. But when you're moving, you can course correct and be like, oh, I need to get here, I need to get there. That's the same thing as life. Once we get into action, we get a feel for what it takes to get there, what we need to do, or if this is something we really like or not. But just getting in action, making a decision, any decision, and going after it. And the decision to be an artist is different. Like, these people would rather traipse through the snow and, on a broken down bus just to get to the next gig, because they love what they do. It doesn't matter. And then Seinfeld said to this kid, he says, what else would you be doing? Like, what else would you be doing? Like, why does it matter if you fail, or if this doesn't happen, or if that doesn't happen? The idea is that we're going through and we're moving towards something that matters to us. I heard it said that success is realizing, it's slowly realizing a worthy ideal. Like, success is just this slow process of moving towards something that we really want, that we really like. And so my encouragement is this: to choose what it is that you want. If it's to be an artist is very different than anything else, but there's nothing really like it. There's nothing like being an entrepreneur or an artist, or specifically here, like being a singer. And what is that? And it's scary, and it's exciting, and it's exhilarating, and it's terrible. It's all those things, but you feel so alive being an artist. And if that's what you're called to do, then just live into that. Just make a decision today that says, this is what I am, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do whatever it takes, and I'm going to go after it. When I first started this website, Superior Singing Method, I mean now it's been massively successful, tens of thousands of people all over the world, and I'm just it warms my heart to know that, because people are reaching their dreams all over because of this little idea that started, that I and my business partner decided we're going to move forward and do this. I don't know how we're going to do this, or if it'll be successful, or if anybody will ever see this thing, but we're going to move forward. So I want to tell you just a story about when I first started doing this, me and my business partners, we started a thing called the Singing Guide, and you can actually still probably find it somewhere deep in the recesses of the internet. But we worked for a couple years to do this thing called the Singing Guide, and we launched it, and it was a massive failure. Made a couple sales and this and that. It was like after 2 years of work, it was just done. It was just done. So we had a decision to make at that point, and it was like, okay, well, let's just cut our losses. I mean, we spent a ton of time over those 2 years building this and filming it and thinking about it and the marketing and all that stuff. So just forget it. Let's just move on. We're not failures necessarily, but that's not going to work. But that's not what we did. We decided we're just committed to this thing. We're going to look for a way until we find a way. And so we took about another year. I did more study, did more research, all this brainstorming, refilmed everything, totally new program. And about a year later, it blew up. And I think back on that time, and I think of all the things in my life that I gave up on because I was afraid to fail, and really, nobody's afraid to fail. Okay, let me just get that out there. Everybody thinks they're afraid to fail. Failure's no big deal if you fail in your house by yourself alone. What people are really afraid of is looking like a failure in front of others, other people thinking you're a failure. So the idea that I'm talking about here of how to become a singer is just deciding, saying, this is what I'm going to do. I don't care how many failures it's going to take. I'm just going to move forward and do this. In fact, I don't believe that failure is ever a problem anybody ever faces. And I know it sounds weird, but here's what I mean. Failure literally is the way you get there. Okay, so, and I'm going to talk more about that in another video. So failure is not a problem. Failure is actually part of the process of becoming a success. Yeah, so I just think of what if I didn't do that? There would be tens of thousands of people that aren't closer to reaching their dreams, and I wouldn't be doing what I love to do, and I wouldn't be able to make a living doing, helping people reach their dreams if I would have given that up. And that's what I think about for you. What is possible for you if you decide, I'm gonna be a singer? This is just what I'm gonna do. I don't care what my mom says. I don't care what my dad says. My brother tells me I'm terrible. Oh, I wasn't born with a good, all that kind of stuff. I don't care. I'm going to figure it out. I know that there's a way to figure it out. It's back to this how thing. Well, how can I do that? How is the most stuck place that people always get to? But how doesn't matter. What matters is the what. Like, what am I going to do? And a decision to do it and move forward. You can always find out how. I mean, in the information age, come on. I've got Superior Singing Method that's got more content than you can ever devour. So there's one how, and that's just one of a million hows, But the idea of just saying, this is what I want to do. I'm an artist. I'm up for it. So that's really it for this video. I want to end again with just the idea of believe in your bigness. There's more in you than you realize. Think about the things that people have said about you. Don't just latch on to the negative things that people say. It's like 100 people could say good things about us, but like 2 people say these bad things, and then all we choose to think about are the bad things, and it keeps us stuck in that thing. Give as much weight to the memories and the voices in your life that are encouraging you and telling you things that are true about you as you give to all these negative voices, and move forward. So that's it for this episode. Like I said, there's going to be a bunch more episodes. So first of all, subscribe so that you know when the next episode's coming out, and to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Also click this link here, right up here to the right. That'll take you to a bunch of great content, and that's more of not just the psychology, but like my favorite exercise and techniques and all that kind of stuff. That'll be super helpful for you as well, and you can find Superior Singing Method through that if that's what you want. And then finally, if you're still watching this, is that I'm writing a book about the psychology of singing, okay? And I want you to be a part of it. I want you to be a part of the content. I want this to be something that all my subscribers, because I'm doing this not for anything else except for my YouTube, my Facebook, and my email subscribers. So I would love for you to be a part of it. Comment, let me know what you think of this content, what you like, what you dislike. All of that feedback is great. If you do or don't, that's all really helpful. If you have any questions, something you didn't understand, something further that you can add, all that stuff's really helpful as I'm writing this book, because I want to write this book for you. So let me know what you think, okay? Well, thanks again for watching this whole thing, and I'll look forward to seeing you next week for the next episode of The Psychology of Being a Singer.